What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video, and we will talk about the next Harvey Elliott. That's what journalists call the 19-year-old Fulham player Fabio Carvalho, who Liverpool are scouting extensively, and they are showing real interest in signing the player, and Fulham are keen to avoid a repeat of the Harvey Elliott case. Remember, we signed Harvey Elliott from Fulham, and because he was such a young player and his contract was running out, the transfer fee was set by a tribunal, and it went to like between 2 and 4 million depending on how many games Harvey Elliott plays in the Premier League throughout his career. And because of Fabio Carvalho's contract is running out, Liverpool could snatch him up for a very low fee, and he is the talk of the championship at the moment. Fulham are flying. They won 7-0 and then 6-2, 2 games in a row. And also Fabio Carvalho, who is a 19-year-old English player. I think one of his parents is Portuguese, if I remember correctly. He scored 4 goals in the past 3 games, and he also got an assist. And in total he has 8 goals in just 17 games in the championship and 2 assists. And for a 19-year-old, basically still a kid, that's a remarkable. And Liverpool are interested in signing him, and because Carvalho has helped proper Fulham's incredible barnstorming run of form in 2022, and he is down to the final year of his contract. So Liverpool could essentially sign him on a free transfer, and also Fulham would be due a compensation fee, but that compensation fee will be nowhere near his value. And Fulham are of course desperate to keep hold of the Portuguese attacker. So sorry, he's not English, he's Portuguese, he is 19 years old, and I think he's a fantastic player. I watched quite a lot of championship highlights, and he is actually one of the best players of Fulham right now. And clubs like Barcelona and Liverpool are interested. And this is very interesting. So he is Portuguese, he was born in Lisbon, Portugal, but he came through Fulham's academy because he moved to London aged 11. And he scored 8 league goals this season, which is pretty remarkable, as I said, in just 17 games. And according to the Athletic, Liverpool have shown the keenest interest. We are the club most interested in Fabio Carvalho, and Jurgen Klopp's side could prize away the Fulham youngster. And of course, it would still cost Liverpool money to sign him because of compensation fee. Given how talented Fabio Carvalho is, he could be worth 40-50 million pounds. So even if we have to pay like Fulham 4 or 5 million, that would still be an absolute bargain, just like we did with Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott is already worth at least 20 million, maybe even more, but his talent shows that Harvey Elliott could become a world-class player, and to sign him for 2, 3, 4 million from Fulham was an absolute bargain, an absolute steal. And Fulham are still smarting from the experience that they had when Liverpool signed Harvey Elliott, because they are only earning 1.7 million pounds for the move for Harvey Elliott to Liverpool after a tribunal. And this is what the current Fulham coach Marco Silva, who is also Portuguese, has said about Fabio Carvalho. Fabio has natural talent, and when you have natural talent, that is the first big step to having a big career and to get to the top of football. Fabio has other things that are really important. He comes in every day to work really hard with the right mindset to learn, and he's humble as well. He definitely has to keep his feet on the ground and the people around him as well, because it is important to understand sometimes you want to make a step bigger than your leg can take, and sometimes you are making a big mistake. I'm not saying that it will be Fulham or club A, B or C, but sometimes you have to understand that a football career is not just in one moment. You have to prepare the future as well, and that's actually sound advice. But I think Fabio Carvalho could cut it at Liverpool, because look at Curtis Jones, look at Harvey Elliott, they are getting minutes. Of course Harvey Elliott right now is injured, but you know that Jurgen Klopp has started Harvey Elliott in the Premier League, before he got injured many times. And Marco Silva also talked about this, that Fulham keep losing young players to bigger clubs for only a compensation fee, a tribunal fee. And this is what he said: we have to do something different. Unfortunately for us as a club, this has happened more than once. We have to prevent this type of situation. I know that now football is different. Some young players think in a different way as well. It's not normal for it to happen so many times in the last few years for Fulham. The reality is we are talking about more players, not just Fabio Carvalho. But that won't deter Liverpool from going hard and trying to sign Fabio Carvalho, because the fact of the matter is that Fulham are just not as attractive as some of the bigger clubs. And yes, they might get promoted to the Premier League. Right now they have a very healthy 10-point lead at the top of the championship, but even if they get promoted in the Premier League, they will only fight to stay in the league. Liverpool will fight for winning titles, for winning trophies, for winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League. And these kind of young players, that's where they want to be. They want to be at a club who values young players, who plays young players, but also who can fight for the biggest prizes and who can play in the Champions League and in the Premier League for a long time. And Fabio Carvalho could be the next big star at Liverpool. I really hope that we manage to sign him. And what is remarkable, that in the whole championship, the league where Fabio Carvalho plays, only 4 teenagers have played more minutes than Carvalho, and all of them have maximum 4 goals each, and Fabio Carvalho has 8, so double that. So he's basically the best teenager in the championship. And last season, guess who was the best teenager in the championship? Harvey Elliott. And look how amazingly Harvey Elliott started his season at Liverpool before getting injured. So there is precedent, and Fabio Carvalho can clearly see that if you are good enough and then age doesn't matter, you will play at Liverpool even as a starting 11 player. And Liverpool need fresh blood. We need young players in the midfield so we can make the next step, because you know that Thiago, Henderson, Milner are all above 30 years old, so we need to bring through young players, and this is the best way to sign them when they are still pretty cheap and to nurture them and make them world class. And under Jurgen Klopp, I think sorry about my voice, I think that's the perfect opportunity for young players to shine, to develop and to go to the next level. And Fabio Carvalho even played in the Premier League when he was still at Fulham. He was already at Fulham, and Fulham were in the Premier League before they got relegated. He played in a 3-1 defeat against Southampton. And why this game is remarkable is that probably Liverpool analysts noticed something remarkable about Fabio Carvalho's performance in that game. He made 44 pressures on opposition players in the whole game, the most of any player on either side. And what is absolutely remarkable is that, for instance, there were only 2 instances of a Liverpool player recording that many in a league game or European match in the whole of last season. That is amazing, and no Liverpool player has made more pressures than 36 in this season, during this season. So, which means that Fabio Carvalho is perfect for Liverpool's playing style, because he's a pressing player, and also he scored a well-taken goal, Fulham's only goal in fact. And because Fabio Carvalho has less than 6 months left on his contract, Liverpool, if they move early in this transfer window, then they could secure him for a decent price. But if Fulham don't sell him, and of course why wouldn't they want to sell him, because they are on course to get promoted from the Championship in a style, winning the Championship. But if they don't sell him, they will lose him for a very low fee at the end of the season. So Fulham are in a bit of a limbo. Of course they want Carvalho to extend his contract, but I don't think there is any chance of doing that, because he knows he's a big talent and he knows that many big clubs are interested in him. And of course Carvalho already has bags of experience, a lot more experience than Harvey Elliott had when we signed him, when he turned 16 years old. And given how Carvalho held his own in the Championship as a top team this year, there is no reason to suggest that Carvalho wouldn't be able to adapt to Liverpool and to the Premier League as well. And maybe 5-10 years ago, signing a young player from the Championship who is doing well in the Championship would have seemed a gamble. But look at Jared Bowen, look at Ollie Watkins. Premier League clubs signed them from the Championship, and they came into the Premier League and they took the Premier League by storm. Ollie Watkins is now one of the best young strikers in the Premier League. Jared Bowen is putting in amazing numbers this season for West Ham he's actually very, very good. And I think that's now precedent that Liverpool are not like gambling too much on these kind of players coming into the Premier League and doing really, really well. And of course, the Portuguese super agent Jorge Mendes is assisting Fabio Carvalho's brother, who is his official representative. And Fulham have a big decision to make. Either they cash in on him and sell him in the January transfer window, or they lose him in the summer anyway, and then a tribunal fee will be set. And that's always a gamble, you know, don't know really what kind of tribunal fee it will be set by the tribunal, but it usually is lower than the player's true market value, and also it's much lower than the player's potential value in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So I think it makes perfect sense to sign a player like Fabio Carvalho. He's just 19 years old, and as I said, it would be absolutely brilliant for Liverpool to sign him. And look at Harvey Elliott, there is precedent already of Liverpool signing a similar player and him doing very, very well at Liverpool. So Fabio Carvalho will be encouraged by that. Also, amazing news, either Sadio Mane or Mohamed Salah will not be at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar because their respective countries, Egypt and Senegal, have been drawn against each other in the third round playoff. And only one team from that game, that draw, go to the World Cup. So there are 5 places for African teams. So 10 teams are drawn against each other in 5 playoffs. And one of them is the Egypt-Senegal playoff, which is absolutely amazing. And also Guinea are not in the draw, so they haven't qualified for this playoff. So Naby Keita will miss the World Cup, and either Salah or Mane will miss the World Cup as well. And I'm not too mad about it, even though it must be absolutely devastating for one of them, at least personally, to miss such a big occasion like the World Cup. At least that player who misses the World Cup will get a very good rest during that during that winter, because it will be in the winter for the first time, which I find absolutely ridiculous. But you know, all the jazz about Qatar, how they got the World Cup. I think all of the World Cup committee members who voted on Qatar getting the World Cup, they are either in jail or they are either convicted of major crimes, accepting bribes and everything. So you know the drill about that. But I think that for Liverpool, from a selfish Liverpool fan point of view, it's actually a good thing that either Mane or Salah will get a good rest during that 1 month Winter World Cup. And who knows how many players will get injured. Having the World Cup in the middle of the season will be very, very strange, very unusual. So yeah, let me know about all the topics that we talked about in the comments below. What do you think? And thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later, guys. Bye.